Thank you very much, Brenda. Behind me, as you can see, the County of Uasin Gishu has just received a consignment of the drugs that they procured at the Kenya Medical Supplies Authority. Now, according to the CEC in charge of finance, is that the KEMSA had already given them a pro forma invoice of 56 million, and yet they have delivered 42 million now, meaning there's a short of about 14 million. But matters of concern of the bone of contention is also 3 weeks ago, Uasin Gishu Governor Jackson Mandago raised concern over the bill that is in Parliament that will compel the counties to procure medicines, essential drugs from the KEMSA directly as opposed to getting other suppliers. Now, that's the bone of contention. But just to get a clear picture of what has been happening, I'll be interviewing the CC in charge of finance in Uasin Gishu County just to paint a picture of what is happening. The bone of contention that will now procuring drugs directly from KEMSA as opposed to any other supplier.
Thank you. As you've said very clearly, and as our governor has always said, remember there's an amendment to KEMSA Act, where now there's a clause that stipulates that all counties must procure from KEMSA all their drugs and medical requirement services or deliveries. And this is where now the challenge we are having. For example, as you've said rightly, we have procured over 56 million. That's the pro forma invoice we received. Now the deliveries are coming as short. We are receiving 42. And remember, this is the challenge we're having. All this procurement, we've consolidated the requirements of all facilities. In Uasin Gishu, we have 122 health facilities. Some of them are back in the reserve, in the local areas. And by the time we are doing our procurement, we've consolidated their needs. Now, the challenge we're having is when we receive short deliveries, how are we going to ensure these facilities receive enough drugs, receive enough products that they really wanted for them to deliver service to manage? Remember, all this is about giving service, health services, and as you know now, we are promoting health-related services, health care issues. So the challenge we are facing is with all these shortages that are coming, and remember the time frame that it will require to procure the next one. This is why we are crying out as counties and saying, no, if we are going to pass an amendment to compel, to be mandatory, and remember, once a law has been passed, it's a law. It's a question of compliance. Breaking the law can be subjected to be jailed or to be reprimanded, or any action can be taken against you for illegality of transactions. So what we are saying as counties that this is a law that is not in good faith. And number two, remember after the promulgation of the new constitution in 2010, it gave birth to 48 governments. One is the national government and the rest the 47 county governments with an absolute autonomy on running their activities, of course with the functions that are given. Health being one of them, but 95% has been devolved as a function. And that is a function of each and every county government led by the specific or relevant governor to ensure within this locality or geographical regions that is citizens of Kenya are served well on matters of health. Now, with the current challenges that KEMSA is facing, and I was able to demonstrate to you, for example, like for this case, we have this product we ordered. We wanted around 288 units. They've given us 275. So the deficit of between 288 and 275 is almost around 8 products. It's just about for an example or something like that. Which facility is going to serve? How are we going to ensure these facilities are going to receive? Which one are going to deny so that another one will receive? And remember, regions differ. There are some diseases that are prone to specific regions, even within our own location. So whatever they procure is to ensure they have sufficient drugs to be able to protect people or to safeguard people's health issues. So this is a challenge we are seeing. So now that we are giving absolute powers to KEMSA, is this really going to support devolution? Or are we killing devolution? Are we really serious to support devolution, or are we killing devolution?
Okay, Bwana CC, what is the status of Uasin Gishu County? Do we have uncleared bills? Because according to KEMSA, some counties, almost the 47 counties, all of them close to 2.3 billion. What is the status of Uasin Gishu County and all the counties in the North region?
Thank you. I think that's something that is cross-sectional. One, for Uasin Gishu, I'm happy to say we even paid and overpaid our bills by 20,000, and KEMSA knows that one very well. But I want to say the issues of bending bills have to be looked at it in a broader way. One of it, remember, is to pay a bill, you need to have resources, that is funds. And the way counties are generating their receiving their revenues, they have their own source revenue, and they have the national disbursement through equitable share, where every now and then we've been raising up issues on media, on public over the issue of delayed disbursement of funds by the national government. And again, the issue of procurement system if all this combined together brings out challenges to county governments. Because now, when after closure of financial year, that is when it was closed in the month of June, maybe there were outstanding debts by some counties. Now, for the next transaction to take place, it takes, like now, I'm telling you, counties now beginning to access their resources, their monies to pay. How many months down the line? It's over 6 months. Remember, always the standard law and provision of a debt is 90 days. This is, I'm sure this is what KEMSA is complaining about. But then again, remember, we have other agencies that are looking on us. Director General Accounting Services is the one always monitoring our liabilities, our obligations as far as KEMSA is concerned. And they give advising us as CEC's finance to ensure we pay. The time they are giving us a tranche of an exchequer, whenever they are using an exchequer, they always remind us, give priority. Controller of budget also looks at it and says whenever you're doing a requisition, they want to look at that line, that is the ledger on KEMSA or on supply of trucks, to ensure it is there, so that every tranche is tied to payment of KEMSA. Except of some counties have got some challenges. You remember there are some counties, they undergo some challenges on budgetary issues, some disputes between executive and county assembly, which can delay. But the main issue is the availability of resources. Today, Treasury appreciate the evolution and gives us what belongs to us as per the DORA Act, Division of Revenue Act, that is always passed by Senate. If they oblige to that one to give us what belongs to us monthly, as I talk to you, I'm now expecting to receive the tranche of the second month. We've just received for July. We are in the month of November. We are now looking forward to receive the one for August. Surely, consider those months. Is it really genuine even for KEMSA alone, being a government entity, to say that we are denying drugs to county governments when they appreciate the challenges we are going through?
Lastly, your thoughts on the back order?
Back order in this case, as I've shown you, I've demonstrated to you, is that with the original order we gave, and they undersupplied. Back order, it means we will just pinch on the original order to ask now KEMSA to supply the extra. And that is nice about their convenience. Look at another challenge again. In this case, all of us, we are tied to the convenience of KEMSA. If KEMSA have to take up the role, then they should have enough capacity to serve Kenyans. We have 47 governments with now direct needs of these drugs. Do they have capacity? Because at any given time, my budget for drugs is now around 200 million. Isn't it? This is something that is known and they can access. At any given time, they should have ability to give me what I need. Like now for the first half year, I needed over 100 million, 80 to 100. But remember now, they cannot even supply the order that I've given. They've given me 42. So back order in this case is a situation whereby KEMSA is asking me, you can come for what was missing and raise additional, and then they will raise additional invoicing. We will not issue another order. We will just bench on the original order.
Okay. Before I let you go, in less than a minute, there's a road that is erupting. I saw yesterday held here Cicely Kariuki on matters leasing equipments. Is there any road that is erupting between the county government and the national government on matters equipments?
Oh yes, thank you. Like for example, was in issue. When my budget is given, and this the KARA Act provides me what comes to me. National government takes at source what belongs to the leasing of equipments. But you know in Wasingisho, I don't know whether you're aware of that. I don't know whether you're aware of that, that even our own equipments we don't have. It is said they're in Moi teaching and referral, but they're taking my money. So we have that dispute now. Surely, I think a lot of what needs to be done from national government to trace where are these equipment, where they are, and whether they are functional. Because some of the equipments have come to counties and there are no personnel to operate them. So we are not receiving services. So this is something that we are saying, I would rather we are given our money and then pay our bills, knowing that we have an obligation. But right now we don't have any equipment. This is an attempt TRH.
Okay. Thank you very much. That was the CC in charge of finance, Julius Ruto, painting a picture of the road that has been erupting between the county government and the national government. Of course, matters procurement of the essential medicine supplied to the counties. And as I told you 3 weeks ago, Uasin Gishu Governor Jackson Mandago had told Member of Parliament who had attended a funeral at the Deputy President aide that the lawmakers should ensure that the county's government should procure from other suppliers and not be compelled to procure medicine only from the Kenya Medical Supplies Authority. Back to in studio.
Well,